Ernie Shavers. Ernie Shavers' dad was a sharecropper.
Mm.
You see what I mean? Which is just a fancy word for a modern day slave. So
Mm-hmm.
what he grew up in, his dad got threatened. His dad got threatened, so they got them out of the South, so they could keep their lives. See what I'm saying? So boxing is an escape from that. Boxing was the easier part.
Mm.
Those guys were a different level of tough.
Prove to me that you are alive.
George Foreman is a great story because George Foreman came up the hard way. When he was young, he was rough. He was rough. He was angry.
He was like a young Mike Tyson, right?
He
Like,
was like a young Mike Tyson. He was big for his age. He was a bully. He was strong, and he fights Muhammad Ali. The thing that people don't recognize about George Foreman is when he fought Muhammad Ali, he trained. It was the reason why George Foreman, all through his career, George Foreman had great footwork
mm,
because of that fight that he prepared for Ali. George Foreman always had great footwork, and he had a better jab than you think that he does. You're afraid of his power, and you wind up getting clipped with that jab, and now you're susceptible to all that power. But when George fought Ali, everything he did worked. Like it
mm,
wasn't like George fought a bad fight. He landed everything he planned on landing. He got him on the ropes. Ali was just more of a man than anybody was.
oh.
He hit Ali with everything, and Ali didn't go away, right? And that psychologically destroyed George.
Right.
And George went into a really dark place. The story of George Foreman is really his transformation.
Right.
He was able to transform himself to not be so angry, to use what he was good at to advance uh, his gospel. And then we find out that the person on the other side of that anger
Mm.
was somebody that we all loved and somebody that made us all better.
Yes,
So
sir.
George was a great fighter, even a greater person, and I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. People assume that he was just a one-dimensional power puncher with no skill,
Mm.
which is not the truth. The reason George was able to keep knocking him out as he got older is because his footwork was so good that you were always in punching range, right? Your footwork couldn't get you out of his punching range because George had good footwork and his jab was better than you thought it was.
Mm.
So he was his the fact that he was so powerful obscured the other things that he was good at. You don't win a gold medal. You don't win a gold medal because you're one dimensional. You don't become the heavyweight champion because you're one dimensional.
Right. Yeah, and he beat Joe Frazier, man, before. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he wiped Ken Norton too.
yeah, and
Great,
Ken
great
Norton.
fighter.
Yeah.
You're a boxer, so you know styles make fights.
Yes, sir.
Anybody that's going to be right in front of George, it's a wrap. I just ironically read today what Larry Holmes was saying, like he hated that he never fought Foreman because
Mm.
he would have knocked him out. But you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
I don't
know.
know because George, except for the exceptional ones, and except for like Jimmy Young after George Foreman was older, beat
Hmm.
him. But like a young George Foreman knocked people out that were in front of him.
Yeah.
And Larry Holmes is gonna stand his ground,
Mm.
right? With George Foreman, if you stand your ground, you're gonna get hit. He hit Ali. It's just Ali didn't go away. Ali had an uncommon chin. For Ali, the part that he didn't get enough credit for was how tough he was.
Hmm.
Right? Where other people, if if I put it this way, if Larry Holmes had a got hit with what Muhammad got hit with, I think Larry Holmes would be gone. Like
Hmm.
that's not an insult.
Right.
Like, I've never laced them up, so I don't like to. I don't
Right.
want to say anything that sounds like I'm insulting boxers because I've
Nah,
never.
not at all.
But but people that get hit like that aren't normally still there,
Right.
and Muhammad was, and that's what, like George was saying. He'd hit Ali with like his best shot, and then Ali would clinch him and saying, "Is that all you got,
Yeah, is
George?"
that all you got? Yeah, yeah.
He said inside his head. After a while, he went, "Yep, I'm done." And then Ali got him out of there. But the greatest part of George Foreman's story is what he was able to do in the ring, and then what he was able to do with his life after his biggest disappointment in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, and he had some kind of a divine intervention, man. Did you see the movie, the Big George? I seen it. It was a good movie.
It was surprisingly good.
Right, right.
Yeah, I did
But
see.
just like you said, incredible story. I'm glad that we can commemorate Big George. Especially him coming back at age 43, like winning the title against Michael Moore, like unbelievable. He took Michael Moore like for a long, long ride, and then he tired the kid out. Like this was
He really
crazy.
did. So, like, it's amazing to know that. So you boxed, and I'm a giant boxing fan. So I love talking with people that love boxing. But with George, what we don't have in the heavyweight division now, what we have too little of, what what we had in the old days, the golden age of the heavyweights, Muhammad Ali was a gold medalist, Joe Frazier was a gold medalist,
Yeah,
George
George
Foreman was
Foreman.
a gold medalist.
Hmm.
So we had these well-rounded boxers with fundamentals. They weren't ex-football players that switched to boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we had all of these contenders in the mix. We had Ken Norton, who was the Marine champion.
Hmm.
So we had all of these heavyweights with a foundation of skill,
Hmm.
which is different now. We have heavyweights that used to be, they used to play football
Yeah.
and now they box, or uh, we don't have very many gold. I don't know if we have any gold medalist heavyweights anymore. So the fundamental of skill was deeper than it is now. The other thing that I'll add, especially back in those days, especially with our black fighters
Mm.
out of the 60s and the 70s, it was tougher to be black than it was to box.
Mm.
Do you see what I'm saying? So those fighters had an extra edge that these fighters don't have now. For a lot of these boxers now, boxing is the toughest thing,
Yeah.
right? You're going to go home to cable TV, and you know what I mean. Boxing is the toughest thing now, and I don't mean to say that people don't have tough lives. They do,
Mm.
but coming out of the you take Ernie Shavers. Ernie Shavers' dad was a sharecropper.
Mm.
You see what I mean? Which is just a fancy word for a modern day slave. So
Mhm.
what he grew up in, his dad got threatened. Uh, uh, his dad got threatened, so they got them out of the South, so they could keep their lives. See what I'm saying? So boxing is an escape from that. Boxing was the easier part.
Mhm.
Those guys were a different level of tough
Yeah.
because of what their lives were.
Mhm.
Like you listen to Joe Frazier, you listen to him talk about his childhood, right? Coming from South Carolina, arguably the most racist state, especially back then,
Mm.
Union. He moved the boxing to come out of something that was tougher. So those fighters, you look at what Ali was fighting for, what he stood for, what George Foreman came out of, what Joe Frazier came out of, what Ernie Shavers came out of, right? Those coming out of the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, Sonny Liston. Those
Mhm.
guys, their lives were so much tougher than the profession.
Mm.
So what they brought to the ring was a level of whatever that word is, ferocity
Mhm.
or conviction or whatever that word is that we don't have to the same degree now.
Yeah,
Because
you
He'd knock somebody out and they still wouldn't be rich.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, you making a great point though. That's why like nowadays for the past 10, 15 years we're seeing a lot of Slavic fighters finally emerge, because it's not that I always tell people it's not that you didn't have good Slavic fighters before, but imagine like Ukraine was under Soviet Union, nobody could become a professional. You like Klitschko brothers when they first blew up, they had to go to Germany. They had to go to Germany and find a promoter.
Prove to me that you're alive.
I still think Klitschko brothers ruined the whole heavyweight division, but I'm just saying, like, what I'm saying, the journey. And that's why we're getting it now, a Lomachenko. That's why we're getting a Usyk, what I'm saying? Even though I don't really stand behind Usyk that much, but for his political views and stuff. But I'm just saying, finally we're seeing like these Slavic fighters getting an opportunity and, Russian, Ukrainian, whatever. And they're coming and they killing stuff, man.
Even Marvin Hagler. Marvin Hagler
Ooh.
used to say, man, he hates fight. He called them skis. The people with they had those Rosinskis, and what I mean, those people would ski as the last syllable, because he said they were always the toughest fighters. Right? He said, man, as he put it, man, I hate fighting them skis because those Slavic fighters always, they had that extra toughness. The worse you have it, the tougher you are,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, do you have your top 5 fighters, man, of all time?
Well, my top fighter of all time is Muhammad Ali. And the reason is because people forget this. People will say Muhammad Ali in his prime. Muhammad Ali never had a prime. Yet he had over 10 successful title defenses before he was retired. Before he missed his prime for those 3 years because of Vietnam that he was forced to retire. But he had 10 plus successful title defenses before, and another 10 plus after. So that makes him, for me, and there's what he stood for in and out of the ring. He did all of that with the weight of the federal government on him. I say, if you don't think that makes him the greatest, take your favorite fighter and take 3 years of his prime away and see if his career still stacks up. Probably not. Do you see what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali was a fighter that was able to do all that without the opportunity of ever fighting in his prime. So you can say, well, so-and-so and so-and-so in his prime would have beat him, but so-and-so and so-and-so had a chance to fight in his prime and probably wouldn't have beat him either. But Muhammad Ali is my favorite. Sugar Ray Robinson.
Okay.
Who Muhammad Ali would even say was the greatest.
Yeah, he copied his style. Yep.
Copied his style as a heavyweight. Exactly. I grew up with Sugar Ray Leonard, so I'm a big fan of Sugar Ray. I can't. The top 5 is hard. Let me just say the ones that I liked. Muhammad Ali is at the top, but I really loved. I love Mike Tyson at his best.
Yes.
Mike Tyson we've never seen, and we'll probably never see that combination of speed and power again. Like Mike Tyson at his best, I'm not saying that he would have. I'm saying that he was capable of beating any heavyweight that ever lived. I'm not saying that he would have. I mean, I think if he fights Muhammad Ali, first you got to say, are they fighting 15 rounders or are they fighting 12, right? If they fight 15, Muhammad Ali was always good at taking you deep into the water. And Muhammad Ali's superpower was that his technique never broke down as he got tired. That's why he knocked out a lot of people late. But, Mike Tyson is one of my tops. Mike Tyson at his best, Customato Mike. I'm a giant Marvin Hagler fan. I'm a giant Sugar Ray Leonard fan. Tommy Hearns. I'm a huge Tommy Hearns fan because Tommy Hearns did all of that with that big 6'3" frame weighing in the day of the fight. Think of Tommy Hearns if they'd have given him 24 hours to hydrate.
Mm.
How hard would he have been punching? See what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of Floyd.
Yeah.
I'm a
Thank you.
huge,
Thank you.
huge fan of Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather could have beat any welterweight or junior welter that there's ever been. His Floyd's superpower is one that he was super talented, and he took care of that talent. He never got out of shape, right? So his camp was easy because he never had to overcome. He never had to overcome being out of shape. He stayed in shape. So he was always more talented than you, more focused than you, more fit than you, and so I'm a big fan of Floyd. He's at the top, somewhere at the top for me too.
Yeah, a lot of people want to hate on him, man, because like all the flashy stuff and everything, man.
No, man, Floyd is plus Floyd got a chin. That's
Yeah.
the other thing. Like
Yeah,
Floyd
yeah.
was just a pretty boy that he wasn't like Amir Khan. You know what I mean? Amir Khan had all of it, but when he got clipped, he got clipped. And there's no shame in that because you get clipped, the average human is going down. But Floyd got clipped and never lost his discipline. I mean, because Sugar Shane caught him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sugar Shane finally landed that punch that everybody wished that they could land. And Floyd got himself together, focused, and then Sugar Shane never won another round.
Yeah, I always told people don't ever bet against Floyd, man. Everybody used Pacquiao going. I'm like, nah, man. But
No, the other thing with like I'm a fan of what Pacquiao is good at. I'm just not 100% convinced that Pacquiao
all natural, right? I think he was juicing, man.
This is what I'll say. I'll put it this way, and I don't like to accuse people of things that I don't know. But if you look at the size of his head when he was a featherweight,
you got to remember he was a bantamweight first, not even a featherweight.
But see what I'm saying? My point is the size of his head then and the size of his head now. Very few people train so hard that their head grows.
No.
You see what I mean? The same with Canelo. Look at the size of Canelo's head when he fought Floyd, and look at it now. I'm a big fan of Canelo's. Like I'm a fan of Canelo's boxing, and I think he got much better after he lost to Floyd. But I don't like to accuse people of things that I don't know of. But so what was that? That was Ali, Floyd, love Hearns, love Leonard, love Hagler,
Robinson.
Duran was a beast. Sugar Ray Robinson was the prototype.
Yeah.
You could.
I'll give you my top 5 and I'll see what you think, and then we move on to something crazy. So basically, number 1 for me is Prince Nassim. You remember him?
I remember Nassim Hamed.
All right. Number 2 is Muhammad Ali and Roy Jones. They share the number 2.
Yeah, hard to be better than Roy Jones at his best.
Yeah. Number 3 is Parnell Whitaker, Sweet Pea, man.
Yeah, he was from near where me and my brothers grew up in Virginia.
Yeah. Number 4 is Eric Morales. You remember him?
I remember Morales. Yeah.
Yeah, and then number 5.
He's the one that he's the one that beat Barrera, right?
Yeah, he fought Barrera in the trilogy. He fought Pacquiao in the trilogy, like a crazy fighter. And then number 5 is nobody remembers this fighter, is Angel Manfredi, man.
I remember Manfredi. Yeah.
So back in he's this Puerto Rican cat. So back in the day when it was still like Tuesday night boxing on USA, it was like in the 90s, man. And that's where, by the way, where Floyd, when he was still Pretty Boy Floyd, that's when he first, got famous, man. Like 97, 98.
Yeah, Tuesday night fights.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. So let's get into some deep stuff, and thank you so much for doing this again. Like every single second that you are willing to spare, it's I just wanted to hop in a little bit in something soft before we get into something crazy.
Sure.
So we had the new elections in November.